Do you have a photo of the first website?
Yeah.
And how different is the first website to now? I mean, what has changed in the last 10 years?
Yeah, and even still always joke about how our first website was basically designed on PowerPoint. Because we didn't really have a product manager, we didn't even have a designer. It was just what we were most familiar with was Excel sheet and PowerPoint. So we would use a PowerPoint template to design the website.
And was it mobile only at that time?
Both. It was have both web and app. So as you can see, there's some new some first destination like Hong Kong, Singapore. But
early
on, as you can see there,
we at the bottom, right?
We call the Klook connoisseurs. So early on, we're thinking about is on top of just bringing those experiences, but to also find people who knows this destination well, to give tips, itineraries. We called it the connoisseurs. I'm actually now surprised now that looking back, it's like, actually, this is the evolution of into what we now today know like influencers or
your creators, right? Your Klook creators.
The Klook Creators Network, and the power of those network effect on social.
So what was it like building your own flock of birds to take Klook? What was the biggest challenge, Ethan?
Talent. Well, I mean, in the early stage, it's actually knocking the door with the merchant partners, right? So with the partners, because we're coming from not the industry background, no one knows us. It doesn't matter how amazing or what job you did, right? You're not a sector person, so no one knows us. The way we need to go quite extensively to give that sales pitch to get the merchant to work with us. That has always been the first challenge, and then it's about bringing the right talent together on this journey, and then become the fundraising, right? So these three has been in order from this perspective.
Even till today, but definitely in the early days when there's nothing on the table really that you can actually convince someone to join you, it is selling the vision to individual people, and then just eventually you start selling it to also investors.
Okay, so basically learning to sell the dream, right? Today you have over 500,000 experiences. But I heard that one of the very first experiences was a heritage and haunted tour in Hong Kong. In Asia, we love ghost stories.
Yeah, so where it started, I would say, is two things, right? One is kind of even alluded to it. When we're talking to the large merchants, they were not, really entertaining us at the very beginning, right? So then we have to think about what are the other type of experiences or small, medium businesses that will be more keen to work with us. So I think that was one. Number two, I think is kind of a type of experience that would have appealed to ourselves a lot. I still remember going to London doing like those type of haunted castle tour, etc. And we're like, why not Hong Kong or any places in Asia to have some of these tours? So then we actually worked with a friend who was very into these kind of stories, actually asked a friend to design the tour and then start running it. And it was running for a year or two on that front. So it was quite fun. But I think there was a learning from that is that what we like is really just a subset of the more mass market.
Was there at any point when your friendship was tested?
You say.
Because they always say don't go into business with friends, right? Because then you lose your friend.
I agree. Or personally, I think how to understand where each other coming from and laying that principle up front, to know that sometimes you were not able to hold your impatience or some of your emotion at that moment. It happened. It's common, right? We fight or disagree on things like almost every other few days or few weeks. But fundamentally, I believe it's a fundamental value we already set, and that does not change. And we constantly refresh and look at that. And also how you understand why the other will approach and think things in a certain way, and match that into the situation to see whether that is the best way of solving it. So you ask me, is there any moment that it really put into test? I don't think so. I'm not sure if everything's otherwise. Was it smooth? Absolutely not. We do fight a lot on a regular basis.
But I would say smoother. And the reason why just kind of how he was describing it, which is very much his MBTI, as you can see, right? He is ENTP, and I'm actually the complete opposite of him. Now that we got to understand this MBTI personality a bit more, it really kind of like, you don't take things personal, I think after that, at least for me, right? And then it's like, okay, this is just him, right? And then you then learn how to address the situation and address the person in that situation after you understand the person. We see things in a very different lens, right? But I think by understanding more and more of each other through whatever MBTI and as well as working all together for such a long time, I think it then also in a good way, able to enable a stronger bond.
Yeah, they do say that creative conflict is the best kind of conflict, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Been really successful at raising funds.
The result looks like it, but the beginning was a different world. Coming from banking background, we thought that we would be very good, but it became almost like a con.
Because we don't know much, so we are going to try a lot of different tactics.
There was the vision of building a global platform.